The story of Saint Medard, Bishop of Noyon.
Subscribe to our channel to receive more content like this.
Have you ever heard of Saint Medard? He's not the most famous saint, but his story is a beautiful reminder that kindness, humility, and faith can leave a mark that lasts for centuries. Let's go back in time, way back, to the late 400s in what we now call France. The Roman Empire had collapsed. The region was in turmoil. Kingdoms rose and fell. And in the midst of it all, a boy named Medard was born. Medard grew up in a town called Salancy. His parents were of noble blood. His father was a nobleman, and his mother a Christian. She raised Medard and his siblings to live simply and love others. And even as a young boy, Medard stood out, not for being loud or proud, but because of how deeply he cared for those around him. There's a famous story from his childhood that people still tell today. One day, Medard was out walking in the countryside when a heavy storm rolled in. Thunder, lightning, pouring rain. You get the idea. Medard spotted a poor man caught in the downpour, shivering and soaked. Without hesitation, he took off his own cloak and draped it over the man to protect him. Then, something strange happened. As Medard stood there, giving shelter to the man, the rain poured down everywhere except over Medard. According to the story, an eagle flew down from the sky and hovered above him. Its wings spread wide, shielding him from the rain. Some say it was just a story. Others believe it was a sign, a hint that this young boy was destined for something bigger. As Medard grew older, he became known for his wisdom, humility, and compassion. He studied hard, became a priest, and eventually he was chosen to be a bishop, first of Vermont and later of Noyon. Now, back then, being a bishop wasn't just about leading prayers on Sundays. It meant stepping into a leadership role in a chaotic world. Paganism was still common. Christianity was growing, but it wasn't always welcome. People were divided by class, tribe, and belief. But Medard didn't lead with power or pride. He led with service. He gave away his wealth. He opened his home to the poor. He visited the sick, counseled the troubled, and stood up for the weak. He didn't sit in a fancy palace. He walked the streets, fields, and forests of his diocese, meeting people where they were. There's a beautiful phrase people used about him. He laughed with those who laughed and wept with those who wept. That's the kind of bishop Medard was. He didn't look down on people. He walked beside them. Medard also played an important role in helping the church grow and connect with ordinary people. He understood that Christianity wasn't just about rituals. It was about living with love, justice, and mercy every day. Eventually, when he was in his 70s, an old age for that time, Medard fell ill. And like he had lived, he approached death with humility. He asked to be buried not in a grand tomb, but in a simple place, among the people he had served. He died around the year 560, and his body was laid to rest in Noyon. But his memory didn't fade. Not long after his death, people began to visit his grave, praying for help, comfort, and healing. And some began to report miracles. His name spread, and his legacy grew. Even today, over 1,400 years later, Saint Medard is remembered, especially in parts of France. He's the patron saint of farmers, prisoners, and, funnily enough, good weather, probably because of that eagle in the storm story from his childhood. In Salancy, his hometown, there's still a tradition every year called the Rosaries. It celebrates a young woman chosen for her virtue and kindness, an echo of the values Medard himself lived by. So, what can we take from the story of Saint Medard? It's not about fame or fortune. It's about compassion. It's about standing in the rain for someone else, whether or not an eagle comes to help. It's about living humbly, loving deeply, and using whatever power or privilege we have to serve others. Saint Medard didn't just talk about faith, he lived it. And that's something all of us, no matter what we believe, can learn from.